Hello, it's Jensen. Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at 5 tips for finishing songs. Now, last week I put up a video that was talking about 5 tips for writing lyrics, but this is something that I struggle with personally, and I know others do. Sometimes starting a song and getting a fresh idea isn't difficult for you, and that's fine. However, what is hard is sometimes seeing that song through to completion and fully writing it out and getting it finished. So we're going to be looking at 5 tips for how to finish songs, or 5 tips for finishing songs. So number one of the best pieces of advice I've seen out there is to finish a song before you move on to a new one. So kind of stay with that idea and work on that before you get too carried away and too distracted by a new idea. Number 2, try and be decisive. It is really hard because you've got lots of ideas, but there does come a point when you've got to narrow it down. You've got to make a decision, and it helps from the beginning. Like I said in my last video, decide, what's this song about? You can let that evolve, that's fine, but try and decide maybe how many verses do I want minimum, how long do I want this song to be in its entirety, what is the structure of this song. Those are the decisions that need to be made. Being decisive is a key part of the creative process, which isn't always easy because I know creatives are often labelled as being quite indecisive, and I don't think that is true. I think we can be decisive. You've just got to decide to be decisive. Ironic? Maybe. Number 3, take breaks. Really key part of your creative process. There are times that you need to take a break. You may be on a tight deadline and you might not be able to do that. I understand that, but I think it's really important to fit in breaks to get fresh eyes and ears on a problem that you're trying to solve, the song that you're finishing or the song that you're writing. It can be good to step away for, go have a cup of tea or go have lunch, whatever it is you need to do. Try and refresh your mind and then come back to it kind of with fresh eyes and ears if you can. Tip number 4 is the second verse. Now, the second verse is often, strangely, one of the most difficult parts of the song to write, because you might get your first verse out and that's really good, and then your chorus is out, and then maybe you feel like you've said everything you need to say in those 2 sections. Find a way to go deeper into the story, maybe explore some emotions, or think deeper about the story that you're trying to tell. That second verse is a hard one. That is a hurdle that you're going to have to overcome, and I think if you apply all the things that I said in my last video, I think this will really help you. You apply trial and error at every point. It's going to help. Just keep trying to push through it. Take regular breaks so you can come back to it with a fresh mind, and be decisive. You've got to make decisions. Point number 5. Now, point number 5 is this. When is it good enough? There'll be a point when you actually need to decide, okay, this is good enough. And this is really difficult for a lot of creatives and perfectionists. Perfectionists, I'm looking at you, and I've been one, where you're kind of like, oh no, it's not ready, and you're umming and ahhing over whether you should put it out, and there's endless tweaks and endless little changes that you're doing to things. However, there does become a point, as Seth Godin says, where you need to ship it. You need to ship. There comes a point when that song needs to get out there. There is a point when that music needs to get to whoever it is it needs to get to, which sounds really callous. I know we're talking about art and we want it to be all nice and creative and flow and free. I absolutely believe in going the extra mile. However, there is a point when you need to go, this is good enough, and it meets the criteria that's necessary. And there does become a point where criticism becomes unproductive and it just feeds an endless cycle, and you end up in that perfectionist nightmare where you never end up actually finishing anything and putting anything out there. So to recap, number 1, try and finish this idea that you're working on before you move on to something new. I know it's tempting and it's very addictive to get sucked into the new ideas all the time, but try and discipline yourself to finish that song or that idea that you're working on. Number 2, you need to be decisive in the creative process. You need to have times where you go, okay, I think this verse is finished now. If I think this bridge, yep, I'm happy with this, it's time to move on. Number 3, taking breaks. Taking breaks is a really key part of your creative process, where you can come away and you can come to the problem with fresh eyes and ears. point number 4, that second verse. I know that second verse is a bit of a niggle sometimes, and it can be for me, but if you just apply some trial and error to this and you just keep working at it, it'll come. Maybe try and find a way to say something slightly different in the second verse, or to go deeper in that story and take it somewhere new. And number 5, when is it good enough? You need to ship it eventually. Perfectionists, I know it's hard, but there comes a point when that art needs to get out there. And that doesn't mean ignoring high quality. Yes, your work should be good, but there comes a point where you need to go, okay, this is it, boxed, ship. So tell me, what are your obstacles when you're writing songs and finishing songs? I know for me, it's that second verse hurdle can sometimes be difficult, and I definitely get way too distracted by new ideas all the time. I'm so addicted to new ideas, and I've got a hard drive full of unfinished tracks to prove that. Once again, my name's Jens. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe and all that goodness. Thank you for stopping by.